What's up, y'all? Welcome into the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker. He's John Rosa. We're going to be with you for the next half hour, getting you ready for tonight's game between the Memphis Grizzlies and the New Orleans Pelicans. The Grizzlies coming in 29-15. Pelicans, you can almost flip it around, 12-32 coming into tonight's game. Grizzlies coming off a 132-120 win over Charlotte, where they probably should have won by more than 12 points. But Grizzlies have won 4 in a row, 5 out of the last 6. And I think, do we look more at the first half or the second half of that Charlotte game to look at what the Grizzlies are playing like right now?
I think you got to look at the first half. But it might be somewhere in the middle, really. Yeah. I mean, the first half, they were awesome, and they absolutely destroyed the Hornets. But the Grizzlies have done great against the Eastern Conference all year, and they've been great against a lot of the bottom teams in the league, which the Charlotte Hornets fits the bill on both of those. So you love the tenacity. You love the energy that they came out. They took the game serious, respected the game, and they got up by 30 at halftime. Ja Morant even said, Desmond Bain said after the game that Ja kind of stood up in the locker room afterwards and said, guys, we got to play a better 48 minutes than that. Because the second half was not.
Yeah, and if you respect the game respects you back.
Exactly.
That's right. Tonight is, I don't know what you call this, car for air freshener night. It's 70s night. It's the Memphis Hustle themed, Memphis Sounds themed, and there's this little like record player. I'm going to hold it out here. The discs, the records are interchangeable. There's several discs. You put it in the car and it's going to smell like this thing. So the first, I don't know, 5,000 fans, 2,000, 3,000?
Yeah.
Several thousand fans who come through the doors first are going to get this thing, and your car is going to smell like this record player. Solo's car is going to smell like this record player because he's getting this one. But anyway, tonight's the record player giveaway night against the Pelicans, who have won 4 in a row after a really bad start to the season for this Pelicans team. Tons of injuries for this Pelicans team has sort of been the story, but Grizz killer C.J. McCollum comes into the house tonight to lead the Pelican attack.
Yeah, C.J. McCollum, he's got a 50-point game this month, a 45-point game this month, a 38-point game this month. He's gone for 25 or more in 7 of his last 13. He averages more points against the Memphis Grizzlies than any other team in his career. Well, it's 22.5 points. He also averages 22.5 points per game against the Detroit Pistons, but he's only played 15 career games against the Pistons. He's played 36 games against the Grizzlies. He has been a certified Grizzlies killer, and he's averaging, I believe it's 31 a game this year against the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies are 2-0 against the Pelicans this year, but C.J. McCollum scored 62 points in those 2 games. The last time these teams played, the Grizzlies bench outscored the Pelicans reserves 46-14. Tonight, a couple storylines going into this game, and I thought we'd start with Desmond Bain. He's been kind of quietly, I would say, awesome in the month of January. Everyone's talking about Ja coming back. Jaren's been putting up all-star numbers. Dez, in the month of January, you had some stats on him, but he's been fantastic for this Grizz team.
Yeah, one of his points per game, his assists per game, and his three-point percentage has gone up every month this season. It has gone up. It has continued to go up. I mean, I think one of the things from 3, he's averaging his last 6 games 55.5% from 3. I think one of the interesting things about it is as the scoring numbers are rising, the assist numbers are rising too. I think it could be a combination of teams trying to jump out there on Dez, and then he's able to blow right by, and then the offense starts moving. They start creating for other people, but it's definitely a bright spot for the Grizzlies. Downhill Dez.
Yeah, we also got some good news for Dez the other night. TCU, where he played his college basketball, announced they're retiring his number. And he said he'd known about this for a little bit because they were trying to find a game that would work for him to get there and to celebrate this whole thing. But Desmond Bain's getting his number retired by TCU, and that's going to happen, I don't know.
February?
Yeah, at some point later this
February
season.
18th, I believe. Yeah, no, really cool. Shout out to Dez.
Shout out to Dez. Playing with pace was something else I thought we should talk about because Taylor Jenkins has talked here about playing with the 3 Ps, pace, possession, and purpose. Pace has been one thing. There was a tweet the other day that I grabbed for us to talk about here. They plotted the speed of teams over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies have the highest scoring offense in the NBA this season. season, but they're playing with the second fastest pace this century.
Yeah.
Behind only the Milwaukee Bucks in 2020. The 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns, which everyone thought revolutionized speed and pace back in 2005, would be the slowest team in the NBA this season.
So there's a couple of there is a reason for that. Some of that is all the teams the Suns played against also played slower than they did. So maybe there would be some evening out there. I thought one of the interesting things, Chris Vernon brought this up. Look at that. That is the 05-06 Memphis Grizzlies with the slowest pace
ever.
It is amazing. Fast forward about 20 seasons, and you've gone from the slowest pace ever to
the second fastest
pace in NBA history. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. I mean, the Grizzlies are averaging 123 points a game, something like that. And it seems like kind of doesn't matter who they play against, they're still able to kind of get this offense going. We still don't have a name for the offense. The Escargot offense, or
we got
to come up with something.
Stick. Nothing is stuck. Yeah,
we got to get a name for the offense. We need something that reflects like European vibes. I don't know what. We got to come up with something, but got to come up with some name for this offense. And one of the guys who's been a beneficiary of playing in this offense has been Jay Huff. He was your Skydog pick of the night the other night.
I mean, Jay Huff was just it was looking very bad in the first half. And the second half. And the way that game was headed in the second half, they needed all of them, actually. He scored 13 points, but really and he played like 7 minutes. But those 13 points came in 3 minutes. Shout out Jay Huff.
Yeah, he was incredible. And Jay Huff, we've started a campaign basically to try to get Jay Huff in the dunk contest. We've seen all those reverse dunks. Every once in a while he'll get one coming down the lane or kind of catch someone where they're not ready, or an alley-oop, something like that. But we talked about it today at shoot-around. I asked Brandon Clark if he thought Jay Huff deserved to be in the dunk contest. Jay should be in the dunk contest?
Yeah, I was talking to him about it like last week. I said that he definitely could do it.
Yeah.
Just really if he wants to go do it. I'm surprised that he hasn't done it before, to be honest.
Really?
But yeah.
You put him up that high, like on the...
I mean, he's been in the league for 5 years. I could have seen him in there a while ago, but yeah, I could see him doing that.
Okay.
Only reverses.
Yeah. I mean, probably like a windmill reverse, 360 reverse, all that.
We were just talking.
Well, somebody tonight, I'm not going to name names, but his name rhymes with Meat Manica, told me that he had a word with Jay Huff, and Jay Huff was starting to hedge his bets a little bit about being in the dunk contest, saying maybe I shouldn't do it. So I don't know. I think we should just keep this thing rolling.
I think he should do it because, look, you always can have a teammate come in and help you, and I think this is a way.
Yuki Kawamura.
Yuki, or I think this is a way we get John Conchar to All-Star Weekend to throw Jay Huff an alley-oop.
I'm with it.
Something like that. A little alley-oop with the reverse.
Well, won't Yuki be there for...
Yuki will be there for that. They'll have a couple. They should have a couple of hustle players there for the next up game. But, yeah, Yuki will be there for the next up game.
Yeah. Right now, like, all the hustle players.
And Jaren Jackson Jr. should be there also as
Jaren
well.
should definitely be there. Who won't be here tonight is Ja Morant and Santi Aldama. We had some late news on the injury front. Both of those guys were this morning listed as questionable because they've both been sick. But just tonight, Taylor Jenkins said they're both out with illness. He's hoping they're able to play tomorrow night. Yuki's with, and Zion Poland are both with the Memphis Hustle. Jake LaRavie has a lower back strain. Marcus Smart with the finger. Cam Spencer with the wrist. Vince Williams with the ankle. And that's your injury report.
I'm impressive that you got through all of that.
I've been doing it every game,
all of the injuries here. You are a pro.
I've been doing it every game.
Lang Whitaker, you are an absolute pro.
Well, the Pelicans have a couple guys out, too. Zion Williamson's out because he's first night of a back-to-back, and they're still bringing him back from his hamstring thing. So he's out tonight. He's playing for them tomorrow night. Herb Jones is out with a shoulder injury. Brandon Ingram's out with an ankle. Two guys who were kind of questionable who are playing is Yves Missy, who's like kind of been in the talk about a Rookie of the Year campaign. Big guy. He's played really well for them. And then DeJounte Murray, who when he's on is one of the best point guards in the NBA.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray not shooting a great field goal percentage this season against the Grizzlies, but he's actually like 40% from three against the Grizzlies. The field goal percentage not good against us, but the three-point percentage is. Missy averaging a double-double against the Grizzlies. 6'11", really, really athletic. So, no, like, it's – you and I talked before this game, and we said Murray and McCollum, they are two guys that –
Yeah.
They're not the superstar players, but they are two guys that
when they're on,
if they
awesome.
both get going at the same time, and we already said how McCollum has been great in this month of January. They both get on. Like, they can hit shots, and they can be a really dangerous team in the Grizzlies, as you said, without John Morant tonight. You know who I did pick for my Sky Dog today?
Jalen Wells.
Scottie Pippen Jr., actually.
Oh, okay.
So
we'll see. Yeah. I want to see Jalen Wells shut down C.J. McCollum.
I do,
tonight.
too.
I think that would be a fun matchup.
It'd be great if Tony Allen's in the crowd for that, too.
That'd be awesome. First team all defense. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Jessica Benson's going to join us. You're watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.
Dusty May was at Florida Atlantic last year. Tonight you'll watch him coach at Michigan. So why do I care if a football player decides to leave one place where he's making whatever money to go somewhere where he's making even more? It's what most coaches do every year. So I cannot stand it, and I mean can't stand it, when the coaches sit up there and act like these young people are doing something wrong.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I can't wait to see what your number one. If that's your number two.
Number one for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the Bells, Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard it.
To the Bells and they made me remember.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one? It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker, joined by Jessica Benson here courtside. We're getting you ready for the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. Tip-off is in about 47 minutes, and we're getting set for this game tonight. Jessica always joins us when we talk about tonight's main character. Who have you tabbed as tonight's main character?
Luke Kennard.
Okay.
Make it Luke Kennard for a myriad of reasons. One, he dunked in the last game for the first time in a long time, which was awesome. He has also, over the last 13 games, been averaging 13 points while shooting over 50% from three. And I feel like that kind of went under the radar until he exploded in that last game and was 7 of 11 from deep. But also, with Ja out, I'm very curious if Taylor Jenkins will revert to the starting lineup we saw in the second of the 2 games in San Antonio, where Ja was out, and they started Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard. And that Desmond Bane had a huge assist game, but it also took some of the pressure I felt off Desmond Bane, as we've seen Luke Kennard be a more solid backup ball handler for this group. That allows Scottie Pippen to fit more naturally in the bench unit. And so I'm curious just how Luke Kennard fits here tonight.
Desmond Bane's actually the Grizzlies' assist per game leader among qualified players because he's played more games than Ja. But Dez has been amazing at that kind of secondary ball handler role this year. Roser and I were talking about how Dez kind of got off the slow start. Has been really good the last couple weeks. Same goes for Luke Kennard. You know, at the start of this year, he had trouble. He was actually talking about Wednesday about the numbers crunch the Grizzlies have and how he was like, look, you have to be professional. He was like, it happened to me earlier this year. He had a couple games where he couldn't get off the bench, and now he's in the rotation. I think that's an interesting choice. If you flip it around, the guy who's been killing us all year is the shooting guard for the Pelicans.
CJ McCollum.
Forever, So I guess we'll see who guards him. We were saying, do you think we get a little Jalen Wells, CJ McCollum?
I think we could, and Jalen Wells has shown an apt to step up in these kind of matchups. matchups, and even just watching him go back and forth with LaMelo Ball the other night. I know LaMelo's numbers ended up being fine at the end, but as you and I have said multiple times, it felt like a garbage time quarter and a half. Early on,
3.5 quarters.
LaMelo was frustrated as all get out. Now, granted, Jalen Mills was taking a beating through those screens too, but I'm curious how that works tonight. CJ McCollum just had 45 points. In this month, he's had a 50-point game, a 45-point game, a high 30-point game. He's averaging something like 24.
Awesome.
And he's been great against the Grizzlies.
He's averaging 30 points.
Yeah, so we'll see. But that again goes towards, okay, Grizzlies #1 scoring offense in the league. Can you just put up more points and stop one night from a CJ McCollum from taking you down in a game that by all means you should win? This is a stretch of games for the Grizzlies where they should be able to stack some wins based on the teams coming into FedEx Forum.
All right, you can join Jessica and Eric and Elliot and Bennett on the call on ESPN 92.9 starting soon. We're going to take a quick break. Here's a clip from the odds couple to get you set for the NFL games this weekend.
Playoffs since 2021, only in the playoffs. Chiefs penalties 36, the opponents 66. Penalty yards, Chiefs 319, opponents 541 penalty yards. More penalties, total penalties. Chiefs have never had a playoff game since 2021 where they've had more penalties than the opponent. They tied once. The opponent in 10 of those contests has had more penalties called against them. And penalty yards, the Chiefs only had more penalty yards than opponents one time in 2020. Since 2021, that means 10 times the opponent has had more penalty yards, Rosen.
It's a disciplined football team. That's why they're Super Bowl champions.
No, it's not. They're the most. They're also like the most physical defense in the league. Why are they most? They don't get called for any of the crap. Call them for the crap, and they won't look as good.
Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. Lang Whitaker, joined by Michael Wright from ESPN, who's in town all week. It's been a week in Memphis. You've seen everything Memphis has to offer, including the 24-hour virus that's going out. But you made it through.
Barely, my man, barely. And this thing has been going throughout this whole organization, it seems like. I've been talking to people, and almost everybody you talk to has like a sniffle or something.
Yeah. I just keep taking my airborne. You just keep it going.
I wish I knew where to get that, man.
Yeah, I can hook you up. I know a guy.
I know you do.
You
need to hook me up with the foams too. I saw them on the last broadcast.
Foams, yeah.
I was green, like I'm brown, but I was really green.
That's the old slam hookup I have, like from back in the day.
Those were nice.
Yeah, they didn't pay us much, but in retrospect, I still get the kicks every once in a while, so that works out. You've been here watching this Grizzlies team this week, third in the Western Conference, but it seems like, I don't know, maybe from my perspective being here, it seems like Grizzlies don't get talked a lot the way you hear people talk about the Thunder or the Rockets, that kind of thing. What have you seen from this Grizzlies? I'm just curious what your kind of reaction has been to seeing this team play up close.
You know, I was around sort of last year when things weren't going so well. Yeah. And you know what I'm noticing is that Memphis took those tough times and found a way to pull something positive from them. And I think you see that with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, when everybody's injured and, you know, the Grizzlies are going through everything, it's let's put the ball in Jaren's hands and see what we can do.
Yeah.
And now you've got a weapon that you can play through on any given night.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to play through Drive, play through Jaren. And I think Jaren has sort of earned, to me, he's an all-star.
Yeah.
He's definitely, I don't get to vote on the reserves, but I wish I could because he would get my vote. And so you have that, but then you have all the other guys that sort of emerged through all that. And then not only that, I think that the cohesion and the togetherness of this team, that locker room, that has always been solid. And I think that is what sort of pulled them through all those tough times to see what we're seeing right now. The Grizzlies are a buzzsaw. They're just as good as they were 2 years ago. I promise you that.
It's interesting, because we see them every night, so you kind of get not used to it, but you know what I mean? Like you see it every night, and you're like, oh, okay, I know how this team
Tunnel
plays.
vision, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. So it's kind of interesting to hear from the outside perspective looking in. To your point on Jaren, like that dude can get you a bucket in 100 different ways, and it's pretty impressive to watch. You live in San Antonio, and you get to see Wemby all the time.
Yes.
Jaren kind of reminds me a little bit of a smaller Wemby, like, you know, maybe a little more stronger than Wemby.
For sure.
What have you seen from Wemby? Like, you've watched him now for a couple of years up close. Like, what do you see from him and his development so far?
I think you and I have talked about, maybe a couple days ago, we were talking about Ja Morant and how on any given night, you're going to see something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Victor Wembanyama. I can't remember. It might have been his rookie season. I saw the dude block his own shot with the back of the backboard. Like he got a rebound sort of behind the basket, and he went to put it back up, and his arm hit the top of the backboard, and it came out. And that's a blooper, but you're like, where does that happen? Yeah, so like that, it's very similar that way. But going back to Jaren though. Man, he really took it at Wemby last week, and that was kind of when I'm like, wow, I didn't know Jaren could put the ball on the floor like that and create and get his own shots the way he did. And he's going against probably the league's most formidable shot blocker in Victor Wembanyama, and he did his thing. So that kind of got me to thinking, like, maybe I need to go back and watch some of Jaren's games. And that dude is something else. And so I'm actually happy to see the Grizzlies sort of come out of those tough times from last year even stronger than they were before.
You're based San Antonio, like we said, so you kind of cover this whole geographic area and all these things. Do you think the Western Conference still goes through OKC, like in the postseason as well as the regular season?
I think so. They are built to be really good for a long time, man. And not only that, though, look at the Southwest Division itself. The Houston Rockets, they're going to be good for a while. And the Spurs are not quite there yet. It's going to take them a couple more years. But, boy, we're going to see some knockdown, just drag. There's going to be some good fights in the Southwest Division like there used to be in the past. When you had James Harden in Houston, you had the grit and grind Grizzlies and the old Spurs. It was fun to watch. And I think we're going to get back to that very soon.
Yeah, I think so, too. I hope so. And I hope the Grizzlies play a key part in it like they did 5 years ago, too. All right, Michael, I appreciate you joining us.
No problem,
When you're back in town next time, hopefully you're feeling better, we can go get some lunch. We'll take you to Michael Wallace, and I'll take you to somewhere
Show me where all the good barbecue spots are.
Yeah, don't worry, we got you. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, John Roser joins me again. You're watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.
There was a tweet from NBA G League that Cam Spencer was, quote, unconscious. Cam Spencer had 51 points on 75% shooting. The Grizzlies' front office ability to find talent late in the draft continues to be a massive, massive positive for this team.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about
Go
the Tigers?
Tigers, go!
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Look at that. We got the whole Grizzlies team just infiltrated our studio. Santi Aldama's in the house. Look at everybody. The whole Grizzlies team. Look at Zach Edey's in the house. John Morant's in the house. Say hello. Say hello.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
What's up? Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grand City Media. We got about 5.5 minutes before we get you over to the pregame shows, and then about 36 minutes before the Grizzlies and the Pelicans tip off tonight here at FedEx Forum. If you're not down here yet, come on down. Come on, we got room for you. Come on in. Watch the number 3 team. Got a chance to be the number 2 team after tonight in the Western Conference. The Grizzlies tonight. A couple stories like we always do at this time. We go around the NBA.
I love going around the NBA.
Well, let's start in Golden State, where
I've got thoughts.
Draymond Green has some thoughts too.
Yes.
He told Jordan Poole, who he, of course, once punched in the face, that it was time for Jordan Poole to move on. He said that Jordan Poole, he responded to Jordan Poole, said, I like a lot of guys in that locker room, well, some of them. And Draymond said, I responded because it's been 3 years. I'm sorry, I really am sorry. I think he was kind of looking for some sympathy, wanting to make me out to be the bad guy. Move on, bro. It is what it is. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have punched him, but it happened. Let's move on. What's your take on this, John?
I tend to agree with Draymond as he kept going. I know I was wrong, but you can't call a man a B word and push him and not get hit either.
Yes, you can.
I mean, you can.
You can.
I think it happens every night in the NBA, probably. Actually,
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. I do think Jordan Poole needs to move on. I do. I think it probably...
But here's the thing. Jordan Poole has not said anything. This is the one time he said anything.
Yeah.
And all he said was, I have love for guys in that locker room. Well, almost all of them.
That makes sense. There's nothing wrong with him saying that.
Draymond said, if anything, I shouldn't have knocked him out. I should have just hemmed him up.
Yeah, I think Draymond talks. All he does is talk, and it's always Draymond trying to be, I'm the victim, and it's all, nothing's ever my fault.
Yeah, it's your fault this time. I think Draymond can just take the L. Be like, look, I shouldn't have knocked him out. I'm sorry.
I think Draymond needs to try to pull him aside if he can at some point privately and apologize to him.
Yeah.
Like, have that conversation. You clearly have not had that conversation.
Yeah.
Pulling somebody aside and privately telling them, hey, I am sorry.
That I knocked you out.
I'm sorry. It was wrong, and I'm sorry.
What's up, Sherm?
Say, that can go a long way.
Yeah.
And if Jordan Poole won't accept that, well, then so be it. This is the way it is.
Another person who might be apologizing at some point is Jimmy Butler, because he's into it with the Miami Heat. Yesterday, we got a report that Jimmy Butler would like to be traded anywhere in the NBA except one place, Memphis.
I had a great Grok picture drawn up for that, but I didn't post it. I did not post it.
The king of AI, the Picasso of AI.
Yes.
John Roser.
The Basquiat, the Warhol.
I don't know. You're more like Salvador Dali, like these weird images. Yeah, like melting fishes and stuff. Yeah. What's up, Devin Walker?
Wait till I start throwing some other stuff in there and get all Jackson Pollock.
The warm-up show culture correspondent, Devin Walker.
Button up your jersey. Ain't nobody trying to see that taco meat.
We don't want to see the taco meat.
You got that taco meat out.
What do you make of the of Jimmy Butler and the Memphis thing?
If Jimmy Butler would come here and be cool, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat, I would do it. If he would come here and be cool,
but I think he's basically saying, I'm not going to be cool.
He's basically saying, I'm not going to be cool. Now, you've got to try to convince him, hey, man, be cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind closed doors.
I also feel like Jimmy Butler doesn't do there's not a lot of convincing where Jimmy Butler's involved.
I will tell you what FedEx Forum needs.
What's that?
Is a coffee place.
That is true.
So, Big Face Coffee.
Other than the Starbucks across the street, we need one. Maybe in Grind City Media.
Yeah, Big Face Coffee. Look, everything else costs $20 in here. So
I'm with it.
You know, why not coffee?
Last thing, did you see the new shot clock?
Yeah, the circle.
There's new shot clocks next season. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Not yet.
Not
next
yet.
Season.
It's going to be next season. We have a picture of it here. It's a circle. The NBA is changing the shape. All the WNBA, G League, and NBA are all going to use these next year.
I don't know what the point of this is, but okay,
either.
like cool.
I think
let's just do something different, whatever.
Fish asked me, he's like, do you think it'll come the lights will go around at the end of the shot clock?
Ooh.
That'd be kind of cool.
Like the red lights up?
Yeah, like it ticks down around the side.
Or if it's under, once it hits 5, if it starts like a little yellow, like.
Yeah, or I was telling Fish, what if like fire shoots out at the 0? That would be badass.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
The pyro that shoots out already scares people.
I know, it scared me. She said fire in the hole before they shot it tonight.
It always, and it is hot. When you're right here, man, hot. You feel it, yeah.
All right, we're going to get out of here. Give me one matchup for tonight.
I think Jalen Wells, whoever he's guarding. I think you talked about it earlier. I think that's the one, because it's if he can slow down
one of those guys,
shut down, but slow one of them down, I think the Grizzlies, even minus Ja and Santi, I think they can have a lot of success tonight.
I think so too. All right, we're going to get you out of here. You can flip over to FanDuel Sports Network right now. Watch the pregame show with Fish, with Pete, with Verno, and with Brevin. Flip over to ESPN 92.9 with Eric, Jessica, Bennett, and Elliot Perry. And we'll be back here tomorrow night for another warm-up show as the Grizzlies take on somebody else tomorrow night.
The Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night. You've been watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. Peace. See ya.